3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff.
Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Mission CTRL. This is your host, Ramon Peralta with Peralta Design, and we launch brands. And we've got an exciting episode here today. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Michael Neech, Cannici.
Thank you, Ramon. I appreciate you having me on today. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, Neech. And you are the program coordinator at ESS for the Boys and Girls Club of the Lower Naugatuck Valley.
Yes, been doing that program for about 10 years now.
Awesome. And also, we've got to recognize the man on the soundboard today, Mr. Jorge Pezo Candelario, our Director of Web Development here at Peralta Design.
How's it going, everyone? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you happen to be in the world today.
Yes, excellent, because I am just flying in from Scotland. It's hard to believe I woke up in Scotland yesterday morning.
Oh, wow.
And I went in the time machine back here to the U.S., just a bucket list trip, being out there in the home of golf, as they say.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. But Neech, thank you for being here. We've been going back and forth for some time. Shay and the whole gang over at Boys and Girls Club really highly recommend you to be on our show. You're doing so much in our community, so we applaud you and thank you for working with our youth. But let's have this conversation because we're at a time now where a lot of our services are being cut and slashed and our priorities, let's just say, aren't in the right place. But why do you think giving back is so important, and why is it so important for our communities, our business community included, to invest in our youth?
You know, Ramon, that's a great question because like anything else, kids, they want to find their way in the world. And like anything, when you're young, you struggle through different things. And one of them is confidence. And like I said before, confidence is a big factor because sometimes your self-esteem, you're still trying to get it to where you want it to be. And just like youth, helping people in youth development, kids especially, it's important because it builds their confidence, it builds their character. They feel like they have a place to belong. And whether it's the Boys and Girls Club, the YMCA, whatever it might be, they have this sense of belonging. And it really does help them along the way. I mean, by the time they get to junior high, their confidence is there. I mean, they feel like they could do anything and they get involved in so many things. And I think because of the youth developers that are helping them along the way and guiding them, getting them into different programs and things like that, it really does do a lot for them. And it gives them that, like I said, sense of belonging, and that's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Whitney Houston once said it, the children are our future.
Yeah.
Treat them well and they will lead the way, right? I mean, yeah. We talked about this earlier in our pregame that we need to invest in our next generation. They are the leaders of tomorrow.
They really are. And the thing is, like, you never really know what a kid is going through. Like, a lot of kids, they struggle with different things, and really what they want is they just want to be a part of something. And when you're at a Boys and Girls Club or you're at a YMCA, whatever the case might be, if you're on like a basketball team, whatever it is, you feel like you're a part of something. You feel like it's like almost a second family.
Right.
And that's important because kids, listen, you want kids to have everything possible, but not every kid has every advantage. They go through different things, and these type of organizations really help them. And like I said, it gives them, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but it does give them like a sense of belonging, that they belong to something special.
And have you ever come across a kid that just was like completely shy and then through the club just started to kind of blossom?
Well, I'll give you a little backstory. I had two kids. They probably came to our program, I want to say in 2018 or 2019. And both were very shy to the point where like they were a little hesitant to get involved in anything like sports programs, things like that, only because they lack the confidence, which is normal. I mean, like anything else, when you're a kid, I mean, I still in my adult life lack confidence, but they came to our program little by little with the great work of the counselors who do a tremendous job, and especially the teachers at the school as well. These kids, more and more, they got their self-confidence really got big. I mean, they did a great job. And by the time they left us after their 4th grade year, both those kids, each year we do a boy and girl of the year for our program there. And the boy was our boy of the year and the girl was our girl of the year. And they had become great young role models to our younger kids, like mentors to them. And I mean, the kids, when those two left, especially our younger kids, they missed them a lot. You know, they were sad about it. And that just goes to show that they just needed to have somebody help them along the way, get them, you know, more self-confident. And it really was special to see that. And it was really something proud that we as a staff were so happy for both of them.
It's amazing that at that young age they could become leaders, you know, already.
Yeah.
You know, they have other kids looking up to them, and
yeah,
I think that bodes well for their sense of
and think about this, Ramon.
confidence.
Think about this, Ramon. When you're a kid in kindergarten or 1st grade, I remember when I was that age, you wanted the older kids to like you. You wanted the older kid because you look up to them and you think they're rock stars. You really do.
You do.
So these kids at one time had kind of went through what the younger kids were going through, where they looked up to older kids, and they just were so great at like helping these younger kids. And what I mean by that is letting them play a game of kickball with them, or letting them go on the playground with them and hang out. They treated them like they were family. And that's really why any kid that's in any program, that's why youth development is so important, because it's going to give you opportunities and it's going to give you memories that will last forever.
Right. And Jorge, you could speak to this as a parent, the amount of screen time that our kids are growing up with. I think you do a good job of keeping River off tablets, and you guys do some imaginary play and things. But can imagine the social aspect of going to a club and the parent dropping them off, and the kid has to figure out how to like communicate with other kids and not be on a tablet.
It's such a valuable skill, and one of the things that, you know, with my youngest and my oldest, I'm so happy that now, you know, you hear so much about like the Gen Z stare, right? Where they're just like not making eye contact, or they lack, you know, the social or verbal skills. And my oldest just turned 20, and I couldn't be prouder that she is able to engage and is able to have that conversation like with her peers, with adults, and she holds her own. And it's one of those values that you learn in programs like that, where you're able to have that kind of connection, where you have to be able to create bonds, and then it's an investment at that age that just pays dividends as they get older.
And she played competitive. What was she playing? Street field hockey?
Field hockey, yeah.
Field hockey. Then she had some jobs where she got to do the customer service thing. All of those things in the club for the young ones that can't get jobs just yet. Yeah, they're able to participate in team sports and things of that nature at the club.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are so many things that they have available for our kids, whether it's arts and crafts, whether it's homework's a big thing, and they have what's called a power hour, and basically you do your homework for that hour. And I mean, in a lot of ways, that takes a lot of stress off a parent, because when a parent's worked all day and they get home, they know they got to do other things for their kids, dinner, things like that. So when you have that opportunity for these kids to do their homework at the club, and they have somebody making sure that if they need help, it's available to them, that really is like another advantage to being in programs like this, because it just gives you so much that you can do when you're there. And you mentioned sports, like they have basketball, they have soccer. I mean, they have so many things for young kids to get involved in. And like anything else, I mean, when you're a kid, that's what you really want to do. You want to be involved in as many activities as you can be in.
Absolutely. Mike, or Neech, as I'll call you, as everyone calls you, affectionately. I do want to learn more about your background. 30 years of dedicated service is a very long time. And when we come back, we're going to hear all about what got you to give back and get involved with the club.
Well, look forward to it. Thank you, Ramon.
Awesome.
Are you a small to medium-sized business looking for IT support? then you've got to contact our partner, Neil Holm, who founded Impact Business Technology. Neil has created an amazing IT services organization based on solid engineering principles, with IT security as a core component. With over 20 years in business, Impact BT has built a client base comprised of private equity and hedge funds, along with a broad range of portfolio companies, spanning across industries including manufacturing, healthcare, supply chain, professional services, and financial services, all across the globe. For the best in managed services and IT support, visit impactbt.com.
Mission Control.
And we're back. Please help me welcome once again Mr. Michael Neech Cannici.
Thank you, Ramon.
The
Appreciate
fans
it.
are going crazy. Neech, program coordinator at Elizabeth Shelton School Club site, Boys and Girls Club of Lower Naugatuck Valley for 30 years.
Yeah.
Dedicated service. That's incredible. So thank you for your service. Thank you for working with our youth. Give us a bit of an insight into your story personally and how you became so committed to building stronger community through youth development.
Well, it's kind of ironic how it goes because I had struggled when I was a kid with, we talked about being shy and things like that. That was something I always struggled with as a kid. And I thought about Jorge before when he was talking about having trouble with making eye contact and things like that. And that was always a big problem with me. My confidence was always my biggest enemy. And Mike Catella, who ran the Boys and Girls Club in Shelton for 26 years, he had knew my brother-in-law, and he had just said, would you be interested in working at the club? I need somebody for the games room. So I started in October 1995, which is just, I still can't believe it's because I could still remember things from yesterday. And I remember, Ramon, that the first couple months were tough because these were really tough kids. I mean, and what I mean by that is they weren't afraid of anything. They were really they had great confidence and things like that, but they really needed a place where they could go every day after school. So you're thinking at the time that it's a job, but you don't realize that you're helping them in a way too, because they're looking for you for guidance. Even if they're not necessarily asking for the guidance, they need it. And I really credit that first group that I worked with the first year because they helped me with my confidence. They got me to be more self-confident. And I never thought I would stay long. I thought maybe like 6 months to a year. But it was just something about what I saw there. I saw so many programs that the kids did. I saw there was a program called Keystone for high school kids, and how the high school kids would would give back to the community, do different things. They would travel all over the world to, different Keystone conferences. And then there was a program, Torch Club. And I said, wow, it'd be cool to do that someday. And eventually I was able to, probably like 10 years later. So I just looked at it as it was very rewarding to me personally. And when you can, a good friend of mine, he passed away recently, but he worked at the club, Hank Turner. He had said this to me once, and it really always kind of resonated with me. He said, if I reach one kid, that's all I need to do. I'm happy about that. And it's really true, because you would like to reach everybody, but sometimes that's not going to happen. But the ones you reach, it's very rewarding, and you never give up trying. And it was lessons like that I really learned. And, I mentioned Mike Catella. He was really a great teacher at that when I was working there, because he was helping me along the way too. And I didn't realize it at the time, but he was. Yeah, shout out to Mike Catella for all his years of service. He's a huge Lionel Richie fan. Oh, yeah. He loves the Commodores. He loves the Commodores. Yeah. So, and shout out to his son, Mikey Catella Jr. Over at Munch. Great people that still to this day dedicate so much to our youth. I want to know, I'm curious a little bit about the why. I always like to ask people, why do they do what they do? And can you shed a little bit of light into the young Neech, and what made you apply for this role? What led you on this path of working with our young people? Well, I mean, I had good role models when I was in school. I think about, and I said this a few years ago when I had to do a speech. I talked about my old woodshop teacher, Dominic Giannetti. I always felt like at the time when I was in high school, he was being hard on me, but he really wasn't. He was trying to teach me for the real world. He was a great role model, as was Ronnie Leno, who was a coach of mine. And he kind of always, you could tell he was rooting for me. Like he rooted for every kid. That's what he did. And I always said, you know what? I had great role models. It'd be cool if I could do that as well and maybe help the kids of the future in some capacity too. And I mean, that's the why, Ramon, is like I just mentioned to you, the Boy and Girl of the Year for our ESS program. That's just one of so many examples of just seeing so many kids who, when they first came, you didn't know if they were going to stick around, and they just kept working hard and they kept believing in themselves and, you know, doing different programs and getting involved in different things. And when you see them, like I still see kids who, it's ironic. My first year, I had a few kids that were like maybe in 6th and 7th grade, and their kids ended up coming to our ESS program.
Their kids?
Yes.
Wow.
So when you see them and now you have their kids and you just see like what great adults they've become and they're raising their children, that's really like, you can't put a price tag on that. It's very rewarding. And it's funny. Sometimes I'll run into somebody and they'll be like, Neech, you're still here. But what they don't, when
the kids start
not even just kids, like maybe an adult I see. And the thing is, like, you feel like when you go home every day, you did something that meant something, if that makes sense.
Made a difference.
Made a difference, and that's important.
Absolutely.
The ripple effect too. It's like you have impacted those lives, and that impact has created this ripple effect in the community that has then improved it. You've created these forces that are now giving back, that are now, building stronger families. It's incredible.
And the thing is too, Ramon, I just wanted to touch on this. Now, when I first started at that program, Jen De Leon, who is my supervisor, she's the unit director at the Shelton Club. She had just started kindergarten. And I think she came to the club maybe when she was in 2nd or 3rd grade. I forget. And I've gotten to work with her over the years. And I mentioned Torch Club to you. We did Torch Club together. And she's just been so helpful to me, always kind of doing everything she can to, give me advice and things like that. And that's the thing, too. You could never stop learning. You could always keep learning. And those are like I said, the things that are important and they're so invaluable is when you have kids that used to come to the club, then they work at the club and you see them grow and continue to mature and things like that. And I've been very fortunate, like with Jen, Shay, Jimmy Queen, people like that, who just continue to they never stop teaching you. They keep helping you along the way, and that's very, like I said, invaluable.
Absolutely. So Torch Club advisor for 10 years, maybe tell us a little bit about the type of mentoring you do with middle school leaders. So
Torch Club is generally kids 11 to 13 years old. So you're looking at 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And what you're really doing is if they decide they want to do the Keystone Club someday, you're preparing them for that. But you're also preparing them for the real world, which they probably don't realize, but they're going out there and they're doing community service projects and the things they do, like whether it's going to like the senior citizen homes and helping them or serving them dinner, things like that, running the Halloween and Christmas or holiday parties that they do at the club, any event that they do that they have a week of play that is worldwide in Boys and Girls Clubs. I think Nickelodeon started that years ago. And the Torch Club kids will be young mentors to these kids. They really will. And what they do is when the Torch Club member gets to 8th grade, he or she is going out there and trying to get the new people, the new kids to join the program. And that's what they're doing too. They're being mentors and they don't even realize it at the time. And those kids really look up to them. And that's how you get kids involved in programs like this, because they feel accepted. And that's what every kid wants. That's what every adult wants. Right. Let's be honest. So that's why Torch Club has been so rewarding. I think about the trips we took the kids on, and you can never just like the summits. They do a summit each year, and you meet the different Boys and Girls Clubs, and these kids have made friendships with other clubs.
That's amazing.
And that's really what it is, because at the end of the day, the thing that kid wants the most when they're a kid is friends. That's what they want, and that's what programs like Torch Club do.
Yeah, and put them around other like-minded kids that are on the path of doing positive things. I think that age group is like a real pivotal turning point for some kids, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
It's that time when, so 6th grade is what I call like peak kid, because you're still a kid at that point, but you're right on the end of it being, because then as soon as you hit, I remember middle school for me was like a rude awakening. I was very much still the kid who like, I still had some of that like innocence, and
you see some stuff. You start seeing some stuff.
My first day of 7th grade like was crazy.
Yeah.
So
because there's always a few kids that already have full-grown beards and everything.
There was a kid who had
stayed back.
He stayed back 3-4 times. So he's like,
you're in the locker room, and like guys got hairy armpits and everything.
My first day of 7th grade, there was a pregnant girl smoking, and there was somebody who got taken away in an ambulance.
You start seeing some stuff.
It was crazy. So you have this time where it's like pivotal, right? You're that will shape how that what that next step in your life looks like. So the fact that you can have them be leaders to the next generation during that time period, you're giving them this sense of responsibility, this sense of belonging to the community, of like, hey, I matter. The things that I do are important. You know what I mean? And it's so like you can't, like you said, you can't put a price tag on that.
Right. And the thing is too, is that one of the things, and I used to hear it when I was a kid as well sometimes, is, oh, he's a bad kid or she's a bad kid. But that's not really true. The thing of it is like, no matter what the situation is, kids need guidance. And there's no such thing, in my opinion, as a bad kid. Kids just are trying, like I said, trying to find their way in the world. And what you have to do, like as a counselor, mentor, whatever, teacher, whatever it might be, is you don't want to just be somebody that's like their teacher or counselor, and you're doing whatever hours you put in each day and going home. You want to always help them any way you can, and whatever you could do for them, getting them involved in basketball, or getting them involved in Torch Club or Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts, whatever the situation may be. Because what kids don't always express this, but they really just want somebody to care about them. And that's the most important thing. And that's what any young youth is looking for. He or she is just looking for somebody to care about them. And do you always do everything right? No. I mean, listen, I've made mistakes over the years. Like, you keep learning as time goes on. But what you want to do is always make sure your intentions are for the best of the child.
Absolutely. And I like what you said in your onboarding documents. You never give up on a kid.
No, you don't. And I mean, like, because if you give up, how are they ever, like, to them, they're going to look at you as like, well, he doesn't really care or whatever. They may not think that at 10 years old, but someday they will. And you don't want to give up. You keep trying and you keep trying. And as long as you keep trying, you are doing the right thing when you're there. And, you know, I have such a respect for what the teachers do, because at the school, when I'm at the school, I see how hard these teachers work and how much they care about their students. And it's not just teaching them third grade arithmetic. They are trying to help them any way they can, doing everything possible to make them, you know, feel like they're important as well.
Absolutely. What would you say to some folks out there that just don't know how they can help or can get involved? Are there any programs in particular that businesses or the community can get involved with?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, there's so many things that the kids, that the Boys and Girls Clubs provide. First thing I would say is go to our website. It's www.bgc-lnv.org. And it gives you all the information about what our programs are. You know, there's also 2 Boys and Girls Clubs. There's one in Shelton. There's one in Ansonia. So they've really expanded over the years. So you have all these opportunities for these kids, and it shows you the different programs. One of the things they do every October is they participate in Shelton Day. Our Keystone Club does that, and they cook for Shelton Day, and they do things like that. They also, on Thanksgiving week, they serve turkey and food for the people at the senior citizens home. And then they have a dance with them and things like that. So there are so many programs that they do. There's Smart Leaders, which is teaching young kids. I think it's for the girls, but it's teaching the girls like how to, eventually get to that point where they're leaders in the world. And then there's a Passport to Manhood, which is teaching the boys about being responsible and being a leader as well. And that's really what it's doing is listen, like anything else, one generation's going to move on. They're going to go to college. They're going to work.
Yep.
The next generation has to continue to be there. And you're helping them with the help of their families and things like that. You're helping them get to that point where they're the new leaders of this generation, because they're going to be. So you're preparing them for everyday life. And that's why programs, like I just mentioned, are so important for kids, because it teaches them at a young age what it means to be committed, what it means to be dedicated, and especially what it means to be a leader.
Absolutely. And we're longtime partners. Love Shay, love everyone there. And we just feel a responsibility as a business to partner and help and be part of this mission. But maybe you can shed a little bit of light on to the differences maybe between corporator and sponsor and some other opportunities that companies listening might be able to learn more about how to get affiliated with the club.
Well, I'll just say this, as far as corporations, companies, things like that. Take like companies, for instance, like Unilever or something like that. They get involved with the club a lot. They've done like projects with the club. They'll do things around the club one day. They'll paint. They'll work out in the yard, things like that. They'll get to know the kids a little bit. And they're giving back. That's what they're doing. They're giving back. And then if it's a place like McDonald's, what McDonald's can do is they also could have these young kids volunteer sometimes at their place if they need like certain things, help with anything. So you're teaching them what work is like in the real world, but you're also teaching them that they're giving back. And that's what the corporations are doing as well. They're giving back. Subway, I think they've come to the club a few times. I want to say like the Bic Corporation has, and they just do these different projects with our youth. They get to know them. They try to do anything they can to help. And that's really what is so nice to see from all these corporations is they're successful, obviously, but they want to help today's youth. They want to help kids in any way they can. And when they're helping boys and girls clubs, especially, that really just like, it makes things, it's like a team. And that's what you want to be. You want to work together. And that's why I just think that it's so beneficial. And, I used this word before, but it's so invaluable because they're helping these kids along the way as well. Like I said, it takes a village, and it really does.
Yeah, I love what you guys do with Youth of the Year, because I've heard some of those young people speak, and I've been on the judging panels for some of them where they can go on and represent clubs like on a national level. And so I think you're developing them as speakers as well. I think they're getting experience speaking in front of large crowds, sharing their stories.
And let me tell you, I'm pushing 50, and I still get nervous to speak in front of people. And these kids do it so effortlessly. They do it like it's nothing. They don't ever seem nervous. I think of our Youth of the Year representative this year, Ava Batone. She spoke so, I said to myself, God, how does she speak without any nerves? I get nervous just by, even when I do a show. She did it so effortlessly. I think like a kid like Jordan Nagy, who came to the club years ago, he was shy in the beginning, and he went out there and he just spoke like it was nothing. I mean, he got up there, and so many people were commenting on how well he did. So it's things like that, Ramon, that they are building your confidence. And it really helped me too, Ramon, as a staff member, because I lacked that a lot. I had trouble looking people in the eye. Like I always felt like, I lacked that so much. I don't know how to put it into words. And it helped me by working at the club and having people like Mike, Shay, Jimmy, Jen helping me along the way. it really made me, a much better person, and gave me so much confidence that I'll take with me till the day I die.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've done such amazing work over your 30 years. You're just being super humble, but you've been an advisor with the Torch Club for 10 years, 12-year coach in the travel basketball programs.
And the rec league.
And the rec league. Inducted into the Boys and Girls Club of Lower Naugatuck Valley Alumni Hall of Fame in 2022. You were honored by the Derby Shelton Rotary Club for service to the community in 2019. And you're host of Hometown Heroes in the Spotlight podcast. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, and I went to Connecticut School of Broadcasting in 1997, and I'll never, that was such a great experience. It really was. They really did teach you a lot. But as time went on, I just didn't feel like at that point I could get into it. And then I would say probably 10 years ago, I wanted to do something that kind of was more about the community. So I started the Hometown Heroes show, and I would have different people from the Valley, different people from different towns, just talking about the impact they made, whether it was sports, whether it was, we talked about Mike Catella. I had Mike's daughter, Amanda, on because Amanda, she was Girl of the Year, Youth of the Year. I mean, so many things she did at the Boys and Girls Club. I thought it'd be really cool, and that was one of my favorite episodes to do. A highlight for me doing Hometown Heroes was I got to get Chris Mad Dog Russo on.
No way.
And he came to a recreation place in New Canaan, him and his son, and right after he finished his radio show, hopped on the train and came to that place and did an hour-and-a-half interview with me. And that was very special to me because that was a goal I had. And that's the thing too, Ramon, that never let kids, especially, I try to tell them this, never let people tell you you can't do something, because there were people that were saying, come on, that's a pipe dream. You're not going to get him on. And there were some that supported me so well. My brother-in-law, Don, my sister, Laura, and Tara, they were very supportive of that. They were like, if you want to go get him, go get him. And that's what you need to always tell kids is, listen, never stop dreaming. Maybe some things you're not going to be able to do, but never stop dreaming. You have to dream, or else what's the point? You have to go out there and do that. And that's the message I would say to anybody, whether you're a kid or an adult, is don't listen to anybody. Don't ever let somebody tell you can't. Always say you can.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I couldn't say it better myself. Great job. Thank you for all you're doing at the club. Thank you for all you're doing for our youth and building up our future leaders. And thank you for being on our show.
Well, thank you, Ramon, and thank you, Jorge. It was a lot of fun, and thank you guys for the kind words you said. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening to this episode of Mission Control. Until next time, this is your host, Ramon Peralta with Peralta Design, and we launch brands.